Imagine you're sailing peacefully across calm blue waters. The sun is shining, the breeze is gentle, and then suddenly, your boat jerks violently. Below, a dark silhouette circles. It's massive, powerful, and it's not curious, it's targeting you. This isn't a scene from a thriller. It's happening in real life, and it's spreading. Orcas, some of the ocean's most intelligent and majestic predators, have begun ramming and disabling boats in what appears to be coordinated strikes. These aren't accidents. They're intentional, repeated, and growing in number. But why? Is this vengeance? A rebellion? A warning? For years, scientists were baffled, grappling with myths, theories, and fear. Until now. Welcome to Nature's Last Call, the channel where the planet's wildest mysteries meet hard science and urgent truth. In today's episode, we dive into one of the most puzzling and chilling phenomena of the marine world: why orcas are attacking boats and what scientists have just discovered about it. But before we dive in, make sure to smash that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss out on our upcoming videos. Now, let's get started. Early theories. Playful curiosity or revenge. When the reports first started surfacing, some researchers thought the orcas were just being curious. Orcas are known for their intelligence, creativity, and playfulness. They regularly interact with objects in their environment: logs, jellyfish, and even seaweed, so it wasn't too far-fetched to assume they were simply playing with boat rudders. Others floated more dramatic ideas. Could this be revenge? Some speculated that a traumatic encounter between a boat and a specific orca might have triggered a vendetta, with the behavior spreading through the population via social learning. These ideas captured the public's imagination. Headlines began to frame the orcas as rebellious, strategic, even vengeful creatures of the sea. But without solid evidence, these remain speculative. The turning point. A pattern emerges. By mid-2023, researchers began seeing patterns. The attacks weren't random at all. They were concentrated among a small group of orcas belonging to a specific subpopulation known as the Iberian orcas, a critically endangered group with fewer than 50 individuals. Among this group, a few individuals, particularly a mature female nicknamed White Gladis, were involved in repeated attacks. White Gladis became a symbol of the phenomenon, with some scientists suggesting she may have experienced a traumatic event involving a boat and began targeting them as a response. And then something fascinating happened. Other orcas in her pod started mimicking her behavior. The attacks spread through her social group, mostly younger males and juveniles, as if the orcas were teaching each other how to do it. This suggested social transmission, a trait long observed in orca communities. New research unlocks the mystery. In early 2025, a joint research project between marine biologists in Spain, Portugal, and the UK finally published their long-awaited findings in a peer-reviewed marine mammal science journal. And the results are astonishing. The scientists now believe they've solved the mystery. The orca attacks are neither purely playful nor acts of revenge. Instead, they appear to be part of a new behavioral fad, a socially transmitted trend, similar to those seen in primate groups, birds, and even human teenagers. According to the lead author, Dr. Ruth Esteban, these interactions are not aggressive in a hostile way, but rather curious and experimental behavior that has become embedded in the orca's cultural fabric. Just like orcas in the Pacific Northwest have been observed carrying dead salmon as hats, or others playing with kelp, the Iberian orcas seem to have developed an obsession with sailboat rudders. The rudder obsession. Why rudders? It turns out these boat parts offer just the right combination of movement, resistance, and feedback to trigger a response in the orcas. When an orca bites or pushes a rudder, it causes the boat to move, vibrate, or spin, stimulating the orca's sense of cause and effect. For a highly intelligent and social animal, that's incredibly stimulating. It's like a giant interactive toy. And interestingly, researchers noticed that the behavior was mostly concentrated in younger individuals, much like a youth-led trend. Adults such as white Gladis may have initiated it, but the younger orcas were the ones keeping it alive. This strongly supports the idea of cultural transmission, a trait that orcas are famous for. In fact, orca pods have been documented showing distinct cultures, passing down behaviors from generation to generation. These include hunting techniques, vocalizations, and now, possibly, boat rudder targeting. Not an act of war, but a crisis warning. While the notion of orcas taking revenge on humans makes for exciting headlines, scientists caution against anthropomorphizing their behavior. These aren't acts of malice. They're signs of deeper issues. The Iberian orcas are facing immense ecological pressure. Overfishing has depleted their main food source, bluefin tuna. Human boat traffic, pollution, and habitat degradation have pushed them to the brink of extinction. It's possible that these interactions with boats are a symptom of stress in a struggling population. In this light, the attacks become a desperate form of communication, or perhaps a maladaptive coping behavior. The orcas may be interacting with boats not out of anger, but out of frustration, boredom, or even desperation. Understanding these encounters requires empathy and ecological context, not sensationalism. If anything, the orcas' actions highlight the urgent need to restore balance in their marine environment. Risk of escalation. There's also growing concern among scientists that the behavior might escalate. While most orca boat interactions don't end in catastrophic damage, some have. In 2023, a sailing yacht in the Strait of Gibraltar was sunk after a pod of orcas repeatedly rammed it and destroyed the rudder. Maritime authorities have issued warnings and even changed some sailing routes. Spanish and Portuguese officials have asked sailors to report any sightings and to avoid engaging with orcas in any way. There's now a real question. What happens if this behavior spreads further? If more pods pick up the trend, it could lead to more dangerous encounters not just for humans, but also for the orcas, who may end up injured or facing backlash from frightened boaters. Some researchers worry that learned behavior could travel socially through orca populations, amplifying the problem. Preventative strategies must balance human safety with the ethical treatment of these intelligent, endangered animals. Can the behavior be reversed? That's the million-dollar question. Can a cultural trend in orcas be unlearned? Scientists say it's possible, but only if the stimulus disappears. That means minimizing contact between boats and orcas, changing routes, slowing down, and using non-invasive deterrents. Some researchers are experimenting with acoustic devices that make boats less attractive, though there are ethical concerns about disturbing marine life further. Another idea is to deploy decoy rudders, floating objects designed to give orcas a safe outlet for their behavior. If successful, this could redirect their focus away from real boats. But ultimately, the solution must address the root cause, the environmental stressors pushing these animals to the edge. If their habitat, food supply, and space are protected, the orcas may simply lose interest and move on to the next cultural fad. Orcas, a mirror to our oceans. This strange and fascinating chapter in marine life is more than just an anomaly, it's a wake-up call. Orcas are among the most intelligent, socially complex animals on Earth. Their behaviors reflect not just their adaptability, but the changing health of the oceans they inhabit. The rudder attacks aren't an act of aggression. They're a symbol, a marine Morse code alerting us to something far more serious: the unraveling balance of marine ecosystems. These creatures aren't villains. They're messengers. And if we listen closely, they're telling us to look beneath the surface, not just of the water, but of our environmental priorities. Each encounter is a signal that marine life is reacting to mounting stress in its environment. By understanding their actions, we're offered a rare glimpse into the silent struggles unfolding beneath the waves. What's next? The orca attacks are now one of the most studied phenomena in marine biology, and they've inspired a global scientific collaboration. Ongoing tagging, observation, drone footage, and acoustic monitoring are giving researchers a deeper look into the complex language and behavior of these apex predators. We're entering a new era of understanding. Just as we once decoded bird songs or primate gestures, scientists are now uncovering the social grammar of the seas, with orcas as the lead narrators. And while the mystery of the attacks is now largely explained, the story is far from over. Will the behavior fade away? Will it spread to other orca populations? Or will it evolve into something entirely new? Only time and the orcas themselves will tell. If this story amazed you, it's time to think bigger. The oceans are talking through the clicks, movements, and choices of their most brilliant residents. Like, share, and comment to help raise awareness about marine life and ocean conservation. And don't forget to subscribe for more deep dives into the mysteries of the natural world.